We've all felt the frustration of watching a rigged game. Someone bends the rules, exploits the system, and walks away wealthier while the innocent bear the heavy cost. 1 Kings 21 provides a repeating blueprint for this kind of systemic corruption. It is a timeless pattern of behavior we call the humanity script. This script plays out in the Jezreel Valley of ancient Israel. In an agrarian society, land represented survival, identity, and generational heritage. King Ahab holds absolute earthly authority over this land, yet he fixates on a specific plot right next to his winter palace, intending to convert a working vineyard into a personal vegetable garden. The land belongs to a man named Naboth. Ahab offers a buyout, either cash or a different vineyard, which looks like a standard real estate deal. However, Naboth refuses based on a deeper set of principles. Naboth adheres to land theology. Under the laws of Moses, this plot is a sacred inheritance from God that must remain in his family line. Selling it to the king would be a direct violation of divine law. Ahab is a king accustomed to total compliance. When a divine boundary checks his authority, he retreats into a childish, internal sulk. He lies in bed, turns his face to the wall, and refuses to eat. This internal greed acts as the necessary spark for corruption. Once that desire takes hold, it searches for a system to translate a private wish into a public reality. Queen Jezebel intervenes when she sees her husband stalled by a law. She wields power completely detached from the fear of God, transforming authority into a tool of oppression. Jezebel shifts the strategy from Ahab's passive desire to active, systemic execution. She builds a procedural machine carefully designed to eliminate Naboth. She centers the plot in the city's public square. Elders and nobles would gather in civic spaces like these to function as a local court, providing the necessary appearance of legitimacy. She utilizes information asymmetry to control the outcome. By writing letters under the king's seal, she commands the local leadership to follow royal orders, while keeping the true murderous intent hidden from the public record. Next, she manipulates public opinion. She instructs the leaders to seat Naboth in a prominent position, before bringing in 2 false witnesses to accuse him of cursing God and the king. She then exploits a legal loophole by calling for a fast. This creates a facade of religious emergency, making the subsequent execution look like a necessary act of communal piety. This chart shows how these mechanisms merge. The procedural steps of the assembly and fast camouflage the underlying crimes of forgery and perjury. The legal system delivers the final blow. The community accepts the perjured testimony, and Naboth is stoned to death under the law. With Naboth dead, Ahab immediately takes possession of the vineyard. The property is now vacant, and he claims it as his own. The greatest danger of the humanity script is its ability to sanitize evil. It turns the very laws meant to protect the vulnerable into undeniable mechanisms of their destruction. Ahab and Jezebel won the battle in the earthly court. However, the heavenly court remained an omniscient observer, recording every forged seal and every false word. God sends the prophet Elijah to confront Ahab in the vineyard. This meeting marks the exact moment earthly authority collides with the reality of divine law. This illustrates the waiting God. His silence during the trial was a deliberate withholding of wrath, allowing human choices to reach their conclusion. Elijah pronounces a devastating judgment. Because Ahab sold himself to do evil, his bloodline will be wiped out, and the dogs will lick his blood in the same place they licked Naboth's. Ahab responds with a superficial show of repentance, putting on sackcloth. Surprisingly, God responds by delaying final judgment, demonstrating radical grace even toward a corrupt ruler. This ancient verdict serves as a warning for today. No earthly power or legal loophole can ever outmaneuver God's ultimate jurisdiction. When evil systems seem to prosper, remember that their final endpoint is already legally sealed. Their success is temporary, and their time is limited. Your daily persistence in doing right serves a greater purpose. Every act of integrity actively paves the road toward eternal justice. The authority of Jesus Christ secures this promise of ultimate vindication. He stands as the final judge who will set all things right. The humanity script of corruption plays out daily, but it is a temporary drama. True, unending justice is a guarantee written by a sovereign God who waits for the appointed time.